Kelvin, just wanted to just touch base now that the regular season's over, going into Kansas City. Just kind of your thoughts on how the team ended the season and sort of keeping that momentum going. Now with the tournament or the rest of the way being kind of a one game at a time type deal.
Where you at, Joseph?
I'm in football.
Oh, football. Um, Spring practice start today,
Yeah, started at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. What did they do? What does spring practice entail?
A lot of drills, a lot of right now they're doing some special teams work, a lot of tackling, just the basic stuff. Sort of, I guess, like a June practice for you guys.
No, do they
Conditioning.
dress, not, do they dress out in full gear and actually?
They are in shoulder pads and shorts.
So
Actually,
it's not
actually, actually, no pads. It's helmets and shorts today.
okay. So now, do they tackle each other and go live in the spring?
No, no live right now. Maybe towards the end of the spring they might do some stuff. I think there's some restrictions, but yeah, they don't push it that far this early.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was um, ecstatic over the year we had. You know, losing our two best players, L.J. Cryer and um, Javon Roberts, um, Javier Francis, Malik. We had a lot of holes to fill. But it's no different than any other year. I mean, we're always losing guys. We're always losing good players. I think the difference this year was replacing them with high school kids versus, Milos replaced Jamal, but Milos was in his third year of college. Um, um, Kingston basically filled the spot that LJ left. Um, you know, he was one of the three guards. He didn't replace him as a two guard. He just replaced him as one of the guards. And he's coming from Brendan High School and playing a high school schedule. The last game I saw him play was against Bel Air High School. The next game I saw him play was against Lehigh. So that just gives you a little perspective on what we were dealing with early. Javon Roberts, certainly one of the most uh, well-liked, popular, winning, experienced players we've had here. And replacing him with a high school kid from New Orleans via Link Academy in Missouri. So that was the I don't know if it was anxiety as much as it was excitement. Just see how they would do. Um, they struggled early as they should. We had so many inexperienced mistakes that held us back for a long time. The three returnees were huge in helping settle the ship. And then it seems like we were trying to figure out our bench most of the year, um, as most teams do. Um, I think our bench got better as the year went on, especially down the stretch. But to go 26-5, um, I can't remember the records of some of the other teams. Um, I know last year's team after 31 games was 27-4. This team was 26-5, 14-4 in the league. Um, I think that's amazing that this team went 14-4 against the best that the Big 12's been in a long time. But this is a great conference. It's a tough conference. It's tough to win on the road in this league. To go 6-3 on the road, I thought was a huge accomplishment for this team. Um, losing the Baylor game, I'm sorry, the Arizona game at home. Uh, yeah, we could have played better, but I'm sure every team that we beat on the road they could say the same thing, that they could have played better too. At the end of the day we played Arizona, they were just better than us, and that's going to happen. Um, but just um, with so many question marks and so many young guys playing key roles, I couldn't have been more thrilled and happy with the way this season went.
Thank you, Joseph. We'll go to Blair Kirkhoff from the Kansas City Star. Blair, please go ahead with your question for Coach Sampson.
Thank you. Hey, Kelvin, how you doing?
What do you say there, Blair? You still look like you did. What was that? 20 years ago?
Maybe, yeah, yeah. Hey, looking forward to seeing you up here this week. And I was looking at some mock drafts and take them for what they're worth. But there's anywhere from 15 to 20 Big 12 players listed in the 2-round mock drafts. There's never been, if that's what ends up happening in the draft, there's never been that many Big 12 players. You were talking a moment ago about just how good the league is. I'll tell you what, from a future NBA level, I don't know if it's ever been better. I want to know how much you guys felt that this year.
Yeah, and that's part of the why the going 14-4 in the league this year is significant for us. Um, going 19-1 last year, it didn't feel unusual. It didn't feel odd because every time we played, I thought we had a good chance to win. Um, this year, it didn't feel that way because there were so many unknowns because I didn't have a memory bank to draw back on with these kids in these environments. But you know, uh, I was in the Big 12 when um, Paul Pierce and uh, Desmond Mason, LaMarcus Aldridge helped me out here,
Yeah.
Blair.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, Rafe was in it, and
Nick Collison, Drew Gooden, Kurt
yeah, Heinrich,
Heinrich.
that group.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, coaching against all those guys, you knew they were pros. Um, I had seen most of these young guys, but it's the guys like um, Isaiah, the little point guard at Colorado, that came out of nowhere um, to have a great story this year. Um, Tad's got something brewing there with that young kid. But you go up and down all of these rosters. The main stars were the main stars. DeBanza, I've probably seen him 30 times in the last 2 summers. Peterson, same thing. Um, all the main guys you see, but it's um, the depth of the stars. How many? It seemed like every night you're playing against a pro. Um, we recruited Koa Pete and Braden Burries. Braden Burries was, it's like Kingston Flemings. People hadn't seen him, didn't know a whole lot about him until, you go, wow, he's pretty good. He's been pretty good since he was 15 years old. Um, but the thing that I was most impressed with is all the best players chose the right schools, right coaching staff for them. And that's really what it comes down to. Kids don't choose the name of a school anymore. The tradition of the program has taken a back seat a little bit to the development reputation of the coaching staff. Have they do they have a record of developing guys that look like me, and how many of those guys are going to the NBA? That's become a big deal in recruiting for a lot of these kids. Um, so if you go from the best team in the league this year was clearly Arizona, and you look how many pros they have. Bradley is a pro. Burries is a lottery pick. Koa is probably going to be a lottery pick. Um, the best player in America that nobody talks about enough is Krivas. I think he's as good as any big that I've personally coached against for a long time, and having been in the NBA for 6 years, they're always talking about comps. Um, and one of the comps with him would be the Klingon kid from UConn that's playing for Portland now. So he's going to be a pro. But that shows you the strength of Arizona. They've got multiple pros. Kansas with Peterson. I think that Council kid is outstanding. They got other guys that's going to have a chance. Monsilovich, Jefferson with Iowa State. Christian Anderson is as good as any guard in America. And I thought the most valuable player, or the best player in the league this year, to me was, and I stated this earlier, and I haven't changed my mind, was JT Toppin. I think he's special at both ends. But they're all pros. The freshmen get all the notoriety, but guys like Krivas, Toppin, Monsilovich, Jefferson, and I always hate to start naming names because I inevitably going to forget somebody, and I apologize for the names I didn't get to, but it just shows you why the league is as good as it is. It's really, really hard to win a game in this league, much less on the road.
Thanks, Kelvin.
You bet, Blair.
Thank you, Blair. We'll go to Chris Baldwin with Paper City, Houston. Chris, please go ahead, sir.
Hey, Kelvin. Good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
In both your Final Fours here, those teams won their conference tournaments. How do those runs help those teams, and can it be, almost a momentum builder? How do you look at these?
Not necessarily. I remember when we were getting ready to play Baylor, the year they won the national championship. They lost to Cade Cunningham's Oklahoma State team. I can't remember which game. Might have been the second game. They didn't even get to the conference championship. So I don't think there's a correlation there at all.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any other questions for Coach Sampson? I don't see any hands raised. Does anybody else have a question for Coach? We'll go back to Joseph Duarte. Thank you, Joseph. Go ahead.
Kelvin, this is a little off topic from the on court stuff, but the a lot of schools have announced recently partnerships with different companies to have those patches on the jerseys when that can go into effect for 26, 27. With as a basketball program, you have any thoughts on sort of that idea of being able to generate more revenue, and sort of what would maybe be a sponsor that their values that you look at, that when you put that patch on your jersey that you're representing, that you want to instill, with part of the deal?
Well, welcome to being an athletic director in 2026. Those are hard jobs, man. I have a ton of respect for all the athletic directors, for all the balls that they're having to juggle in the air. With the 20.5 million in addition to, which is probably going to go to somewhere around 22 or 23 this year, and the next year, then the next year. As long as we still have the same blueprint that they're trying to follow, those numbers will change. So, some schools are going private equity. Some schools are leveraging their tradition or years and years and years of name recognition and winning at the highest level. But for a school like Houston, there's a great appreciation for how far we've come and for how far we've got to go. And that's why having a president in place, and President Couture, Eddie Nunez coming in with new ideas and fresh energy. to go out and leverage the success of this department. You know, whether it's basketball or football, I think we're positioned to maximize those opportunities. And as far as what we're looking for is, we live in such a great city that has great corporate sponsorship opportunities. But the thing that I would emphasize is that when we're doing this, as is we're not just looking for you to give us money. It goes deeper than that. I want to be with a company that wants to form a partnership with us. You look at the culture of our basketball program and the basic work skills that results in high level performance, winning at a national level, the consistency that we've won at. I want someone that wants to partner with that. That we identify in the key areas and the core values of that basketball program. They re, it reflects the areas that we emphasize with our program. We have great success in our organization, and it's very similar to what they're doing there with their basketball program. And if we can create a partnership where we both can benefit, to me, that's the ideal scenario because now we know they're invested. Now that we know that they're committed because they see something in us that they can relate to them. And that's how you have a great partnership. It's not just, hey, we need X amount of dollars. Can you help us out? That's not the way it works. To create value, you have to have something of value that they see that is relatable to their mission, to their core values. And I think with what Willie's doing with football, what we've been doing here for a long time with basketball, I do think there's value. Um, and I think that our athletic department in the university is more aligned now than it's ever been. Um, and I think there's value in that too. Uh, Starting with President Couture under Tillman Fertitta's uh, leadership and the investment that Tillman has made in his university, there is no doubt in my mind. Um, there is no doubt in my mind that the growth of this program uh, reflects the investment that the people made for us years ago. We moved into the Guy V. Lewis Development Center in January of 2016. On December 1st, 2018, we threw the ball up, jump ball at the Fertitta Center against University of Oregon. Those dates will always be um, inscripted in my mind uh, because they don't happen in a vacuum. People had to help us. You know, um, the and I don't want to start naming them because there's so many, but Mark and Judy Cook, Clay Hoster, Jack Moore, Dave Mars. Um, Here I go. Um, um, there's just so many people along the way that I don't want them to feel like we don't remember. I remember, and where we are now on a national stage, um, looking for partnerships, looking for people that believe in us, believe in our future. Um, there's an excitement here that we haven't had. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see where we can go. We have a great university. Our athletic department is growing and growing and growing. Um, there's a buzz around this campus that I haven't seen. And I think our future is extremely, extremely bright.
Thank you, Joseph. We'll go back to Chris Baldwin, please. Chris, go ahead, sir.
Kelvin, the energy Chase plays with, how much um, did that draw you in high school, and what was it about him that made you think he was a Cougar kind of player?
Um, One of the things that I liked about Chase is I didn't see a definitive position for him. I thought he was a better player than he was a position. Um, I had a kid that played for me at Oklahoma named Eduardo Nájera. He's the first Mexican-born player to ever be drafted into the NBA. He was about 6'6", 190 when I first saw him at the uh, what's the name of that tournament? It was in Fort Worth, Dr. Pepper Christmas tournament, right before Christmas. I can't remember the name of the tournament, but he didn't have a position. Not everybody has to have a position. You don't have to have a guard. You just have to have a point guard. The other two guys can be whatever you want them to be based on how you see your system. Um, so when Chase came in last year, he basically played with or worked out and did all of his skill development stuff with the guards because he came here a good shooter. We didn't make Chase a good shooter. He's a good shooter when he got here. Same with LJ, Emmanuel, Marcus. That's what drew us to him, is that they were good at that. Now we've enhanced it and developed it, but also, you're always thinking of different combinations. Like, what do you want your small ball four to look like? Um, Ramon Walker was like that when he came out of high school. Was he a guard? Is he a small ball four? Depends on what you're looking for. But you develop them to be basketball players. And then eventually their skill set will slot into the area of need. Um, so I can easily see Chase being a wing next year. But if he's a wing, he can still be a small ball four. Um, but his character, his passion for the game, um, his work ethic, um, and then Chase is a natural energy giver. When you walk into practice every day, you're either an energy taker or an energy giver. The guys that try to suck the energy out of the team, they don't last long. And if they do, they change very quickly. That's why you have a culture. Everybody has to um, embrace the culture that we've established here, because if you don't, you're going to struggle. Um, but that also goes back to our ability to evaluate what we're looking for. We're not trying to have the best recruiting class. That's a byproduct. If kids fit, now if they fit and they're good players and somebody wants to rate them high, fine. If not, I could care less. That has nothing to do with how we recruit. Um, if that was the case, I could name about 10 kids that wouldn't make the grade for most people. But for us, they have value. And in Chase, we saw a kid that had um, a passion for the game, had a body that we thought we could develop, work with. Uh, but at the end of the day, character matters. Um, uh, San Antonio Spurs 4 championships in all those odd years was built around the first one with David Robinson and Tim, and then after that, Tim, Manu, uh, Bruce, Tony, all those guys. If you don't have great kids, you're gonna be up and down. The thing that creates consistency at the highest level is having great kids, because they can handle adversity, and every season is going to be wrought with adversity, and we felt like Chase really fit what this program's all about.